Strangely, although the moon rotates, the Earth's gravity holds onto it so tightly, the same face points towards us at all times, making the features on the far side of the moon a complete mystery.
For all of history, the far side of the moon was invisible to the Earth. It's the back side. You can't see it.
In 1959, Soviet spacecraft Luna 3 flies past the moon's far side and photographs it for the first time. Astronomers expect to see the familiar dark and light patches. They were in for a big surprise.
When scientists saw the pictures, they were shocked. The far side looked completely different than the near side. It's saturated with craters. It just was such a huge dichotomy. Nobody was expecting that at all.
The far side still had massive impact craters, but it was uniformly pale. It seemed like no dark lava had bled out onto the surface at all. But why?
The only solution we could come up with is there's a difference in thickness between the crust of the near side and the crust of the far side. But the backside must be so thick that lavas are not able to come up through them and erupt out onto the surface. Instead, on the front side, where it's very thin, lavas can easily come up through cracks and flow out onto the surface.
Recent NASA missions confirm the crust on the back of the moon is around 30 miles thicker than the crust on the front.
The far side is thicker. It's not like, oh, part of it is and part of it isn't. No, it really, the other side of the moon has a thicker crust than the near side. That's bizarre.
So one of the biggest mysteries in planetary science over the last about 50 years is, why is the crust of the far side so thick?
The impact theory doesn't really cover that. It just forms the moon, but it doesn't say why one side should be so different than the other one, unless something strange happened.
The new age of supercomputers brings about the first credible explanation. The impact of Theia could have made two moons, not one. And this double birth might also explain our double-sided moon. According to the theory, 4.5 billion years ago, there are two moons in the night sky. The smaller moon chases its larger sibling, gradually getting closer. Eventually, the two moons mush together in slow motion. And the smaller moon covers the far side of the larger moon, creating a new, much thicker crust.
Not all impacts are high-speed, super violent events that eject material everywhere. Instead of just wham, smacking into it, it would have just merged with it, just been pulled apart and smeared out over the moon.
Essentially, when you look at one half of the moon, you see more of one body, and when you look at the other side of the moon, you see more of the other body that kind of wrapped around the first body, and so it's thicker on that side.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
It takes its name from the Roman god of war, a distant rusty orb in the night sky, a source of rampant speculation for centuries. Could it be home to a rival civilization? Is there really a face on its surface? This intriguing planetary neighbor still captivates us. And as both a potential base for future colonization and the keeper of 4 billion-year-old biological secrets, Mars, the red planet, may hold the keys to both our future and our past.
dimension moves in cycles. Any given time of the cycle is a stage or a phase. The universe is the phase of our dimension.
Phaser.
Neptune was brother of Jupiter, god of thunder, and uncle of Minerva, goddess of wisdom. He was both worshipped and feared by ancient sailors, who relied on Neptune's goodwill to guide them safely on long and often dangerous voyages. Romans dedicated a July feast to the sea god, complete with games and sacrifices. which actually sounds less festive now that we think about it. Number 6, the windy planet. It's hard enough for Earthlings to deal with 150-mile or 240-kilometer-per-hour hurricane winds, but those don't compare to the winds that Neptune routinely dishes out. Neptune's winds are so fast that they frequently break the sound barrier, hitting speeds of up to 1,500 miles or 2,400 kilometers per hour. It's got to make for some great kite-flying weather, don't you think? Number 5, blue hue. Scientists calculate that Neptune is made up of 60 to 70% ice, with the remainder of the planet composed of rock, hydrogen, methane, and helium. So, with all that ice, it's no wonder Neptune gets its icy blue hue, right? Well, not quite. The planet gets its distinct color from methane, which absorbs red light and acts as a reflector for blue wavelengths. The planet isn't always blue, however. It has experienced large dark spots or storms that have appeared and vanished from sight. The larger of them, the Great Dark Spot discovered by the Voyager 2 in 1989, could have housed the entirety of Earth. Number 4, the 14 moons of Neptune. Neptune has 14 official moons. Triton is the largest and best known of the moons, discovered less than 3 weeks after Neptune was first spotted. It's well known for its cryovolcanic activity, meaning that instead of erupting molten rock, Triton's volcanoes erupt water and ammonia. In order of discovery, Neptune's moons are Triton, Nereid, Larissa, Naiad, Thalassa, Despina, Galatea, Proteus, Halimede, Sao, Leomadio, Neso, Psamathe, and S2004N1. While 14 moons is a lot in Earth terms, it isn't much when you compare it to some of our other worlds. Nearby Uranus, for example, has more than double that number, while Saturn takes the top spot with a whopping 63 moons. Show off.
Like, comment, and subscribe.